Dobar dan svima i dobrodošli na Cyber Security konferenciju organizacije RNIDS-a. RNIDS ovo radi od 2013. godine u okviru meseca cyber bezbednosti koji organizuje NISA, znači Evropska agencija za cyber bezbednost, i ove godine zbog situacije koju imamo ne samo u zemlji nego globalno, odlučili smo da malo posvetimo pažnje najvažnijim i najčešćim opasnostima koje su bile u cyber prostoru u poslednjih meseci od proglašenja pandemije, i takođe o očuvanju biznisa, jer je jedna od kolateralnih šteta koje su nastale zbog pandemije i ekonomija koja je sigurno trpela. Mnoge kompanije nisu bile spremne za nešto ovako, znači globalno zaključavanje nije moglo ni biti predviđeno. Međutim, čućemo i nešto o tome na koji način kompanije mogu da bude pripremljene na situacije kao što je ova ili na neke druge rizike koji mogu da utiču na usporavanje ili potpuni prestanak obavljanja njihovih aktivnosti. U prvom bloku imat ćemo učesnike iz Kasperskog, iz Unicom Telekoma, koji će nam reći koje su to osnovne cyber pretnje bile u proteklom periodu i neko poređenje šta se promenilo u odnosu na prošlu godinu kada je sve bilo ok. Moderator ovog dela biće Aleksandar Kostadinović iz RNIDS-a, pa Saša nastavi.
Sorry. Hello to everybody, and thank you for attending to this online panel. This panel will be in English. With business response to crisis, continuity and security. Today, you will hear an introductory of main threats in cyber world during a pandemic crisis, especially from Kaspersky Labs. From Kaspersky, we have Denis Legezo. He's a senior security researcher at Kaspersky Lab. After that, we will discuss security in Serbia and region with Viktor Varga from Unicom Telecom and Žarko Kecić from RNIDS. You can send your questions to participants to the email pitanja@rnids.rs. So we will start. Denis, please start.
Good day. Good day, and thanks for coming. Let me cover in the first half an hour of our event, let me cover the threat landscape in the region, in Eastern Europe and in Serbia. And let me spend half a minute why I'm covering such a topic. In Kaspersky, I'm with a global research analysis team. What it means? It means we are taking a look at the targeted malware for years, it for years, trying to connect different malicious activities, different campaigns into something that makes the whole picture from it and report it to the customers. So by nature of our team, we are mostly about the targeted malware, but I completely understand what not all the organization, not all the participants are only into the targeted attacks. I also would cover the statistic about the common attacks. So the plan for today is quite simple. I hope we would have time for the questions in the end. So first of all, let's take a look at the threat statistic in the region. And after it, I would name some targeted cases, some attacks we covered in the region lately. Okay, let us start. And when I prepare for this event, first I take a look at our cyber map. It's quite public. You could open cyber map Kaspersky.com, for example, and you would see quite the same picture. It's a daily picture what happens right now, what our different agents in our different products are detecting. Always don't mind always abbreviation. It's maybe seems strange, but it's just something like the on-access scanning, on-demand scanning, mail antivirus, web antivirus, etc. So it's just different engines you see in the table. What I want to emphasize here, first of all, this picture I took 23rd of October, I suppose. It was near evening. So if you want to get all the pictures, so Serbia is center of the map. If you want to get the overall number in one day, I think you could multiply 1.3, 1.2, something like this. So we are speaking about dozen or even dozens of thousands of incidents, most of them registered with the web antivirus. But on access, the local threats are also here. And for me, during the preparations, the main number here is 82. 82, so our statistic think what on this day, on the 23rd of October, Serbia was on a place number 82 in the most attacked country. Not high, but not low, because now we have around 200 over countries. So almost in all of them, products are implemented, products are deployed. So it's a first 100, but not in the top of first 100. Okay, but it's just a number for one day. I want to take a look a little bit deeper to understand the common threats landscape in the country. What I did after it, I took this 1 month statistic from the mid-September, you see, to the mid-October. The dates are below the graph. And maybe you are wondering about all these pitfalls on the graph. It's not only for the Serbia, it's everywhere. If you take a look at calendar, you see it's weekends. On the weekends, nobody open corporate email, nobody turn on the working PCs in the offices, and that's why all the weekends we have pitfalls for the detections all over the world. So what it could tell us, I think it also could tell us even in 2020, spear phishing is a king of initial infection. But anyway, it's not the specific of the country. It's just a matter of the working cycle in the very different regions. Now, if you took Arabian countries, you would see the different days, right? Because of Friday and Saturday, if I'm right, is a weekend, and Sunday in Arabic words, they are working again. So here, for me, it's interesting the overall number for this month's overall number daily detection. It's from 14 to 16, as I see. Okay, got it. And the type of detection. Type of detection, what could I say? You see on the place number 7, it's a Microsoft Office infection. Okay, infected Office files. Point taken. Infected of Office files, it's a way, like after some spear phishing, the next step, it's often for the malefactors to put some exploit, to put some executable code inside the Excel table or inside the Microsoft Word document. Also PDF is quite popular, And the place number 1 is just a generic dangerous object. So all the local infection you saw on the previous slide goes there. And the hack tool is not so malicious. It's like activation of Microsoft Office or Microsoft Windows. So we have to detect it, but it's not 100% malicious. So on this slide, I want to concentrate on overall number around 15,000 and on a usage of the Office documents. Sure, still the spear phishing, right? And then I want to go even take a bigger picture through all the year. All the year we were hit with a virus. So it's for 2020 from January to the October. And let me describe the logic how I choose the countries and the logic of these numbers. It's also number only from the Kaspersky product. So it's please keep in mind, if Kaspersky product is not installed, for example, we don't see it. So how I choose? I want to choose one country from a little bit different region, a little bit different part of the Europe. I choose Germany just because I love the place. So I choose Germany. And after it, I try to choose, keeping in mind maybe many factors, sometime attacking based on geography principle. Based on geography, I try to take the nearby countries. So you see the result. Here goes Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, and Germany. And what we count, number of incidents, it's number of detections. So any detection of the fraud or the engines you see on the first slide, web antivirus, on access scan, whatever, IDS, intrusion detection system goes here. And how we count percentage of infected, maybe it's not right. It's our reporting system. I would like to change maybe this word a little bit. Not infected, but maybe affected, because it means product detected and don't let a user to be infected after it. So it's a percentage. We take all the hosts we know in the country, all the users, and taking a look at how many hosts faced any threat at least once. And you see, all the percentage is around 1/3. So 1/3 in all the countries don't. So local detections are quite the same. And in Germany, in Bosnia, 6%. I think it's not so many difference. So here Serbia is 106. Remember, so it was 82nd in a 1 day. We check all the year 2020, and now it's 106. So Serbia is moving to the second 100 in our statistic, based on a percentage of detections on user machine. But I also remember online agents like IDS. And here a picture is a little bit different. Take a look at the table, please, at the lower table. Countries are the same, but here I could say 8% between the Germany and Serbia, place number 52 and 111, quite a difference. So maybe the network threats, it means somebody visited a website with a malicious JavaScript, with embedded exploit for the browser, something like this. It's quite high. It's again around 1/3 of the users, but it's higher than in nearby countries, a little bit higher, and visibly higher than in Central Europe, I could say. And another table. Now, one more thing I want to do with the statistic. I want to take a look at the dynamic, right? Now we have a static picture for 1 day, for 1 month, and for 9 months of the year based on our telemetry. But I want to compare with online detections, level of online detections during the COVID year and the previous year. And you see, strangely, but things are looking quite good, because percentage is decreased, and percentage and the overall number as well. Maybe it's a matter of the cyber hygiene is better and better for all the years. I don't know. I really don't think which many factors started to attack less. I really don't think so. Maybe it's a matter of our installation base, but I don't think we change it a lot through the year. So the fact is here, it's almost 9% difference between the lower rate this year compared to the 9 months of the previous one. This is it. This is a picture with a very common threats. Once again, it's also what we detected. But when I started the presentation, I mentioned we are into a targeted story. So we are providing reports about some campaign where operators knows what they want in this life, what data they want, or money from which organization they want to steal, and they could try for 3 months, 6 months to hack this infrastructure, to go inside and make a lateral movement data exfiltration from this infrastructure. And I filter we are spreading it through threat intelligence portal. Let's call it TIP or TIP for short. And we have an industry filter on TIP, and as well as a geography filtering. I made a geography filtering with Eastern Europe, and I see some names. You know, all the teams like our threat intel teams loves to give some fancy names to the actors. So I see some guys, I'm the king, cactus speed, Sophacy, maybe you heard something about Sophacy, maybe the most loud ones. Okay, so once again, point taken, we have some activities and in the region, and also we have some industries. If I also would on the screenshot was not all the actors we have in the reports lately, I could add, besides with this, I'm the king, Sophacy and cactus speed, I could add silence. Silence is standing a little bit separated because their motivation is a financial one. You see, with the targeted industries in Eastern Europe, we also see some banks. For example, because of the silence, they are financially motivated, but all the others are mostly motivated by data, some valuable data. Mostly they are following high-profile political agenda, some talks with high-profile targets. So diplomatic entities and other governmental entities are the targets. Number one, as well as telecoms, because telecoms own the traffic, right? If you have the traffic, maybe you could affect through this telecom somebody next. And by the way, in this we are for sure we are not telecom operators, but we love to work together with the telcos because telcos have so many ideas, so many visibility on the attacks, and we could combine our our research with some big telcos. Okay, so with the top targeted industries and some names of the actors. I suppose for the most of participants, these names tells nothing. Maybe you heard something in the news about them, but nothing more, right? You are not into trade and tell. I understand it, and let me cover and spend a little time on some of them. And let us start with the cactus speed. Cactus speed, it's considered to be Chinese speaking actor. Also attribution is hard, like we tell in trade intelligence. So please take all this assumption with a grain of salt. I mean assumption about the originals. So any attribution is hard, but it's to the general knowledge in trade intelligence community, these actors are most probably Chinese speaking. You see, also in the industry, we have a typical matrix, meter matrix, which we also mention for all the actors on our TIP. And you see the initial access and persistence are quite basic for them, because you wouldn't see here some of Chrome 0 days, something like this. It's mostly, once again, spear phishing. Remember the pitfalls, right? Nobody opens the corporate email with a spear phishing. And also persistence is, everybody knows, so Alexander is as a system administrator, I think knows about this registry run keys for, I don't know, for dozens of years, right? And it's still in use, by the malefactors. Because from my opinion, with all these attackers don't have to be advanced, they have to be advanced enough for their task. These guys are advanced enough for their task. So we draw some matrix. They have a lot of abilities to dump the credentials in security perimeter, to lateral move in security perimeter. They know how to do these things with usage of the third-party software. Lately, we observe a lot of actors taking the source code from the GitHub of some tools, like Silent Break, whatever. So many popular GitHub distribution which could be used in attacks, taken and compiled into the malicious sample, not only but by one actor. I think they could wrote by themselves, but they could also, by the checking the already provided by the public code, provided by third parties, they could save time and they could avoid attribution. If you see just DLL reflection loading taken from the GitHub, you couldn't attribute it to anyone. Everybody could take it, compile it, right? I think this is also the motivation. Okay, so the latest updates of the cactus speed, it's our filter on tip using the name of the actor. And you see it's not only concentrate on Eastern Europe. Yes, it's a Czech Republic, but besides Eastern Europe, you see very different regions from Mongolia, Laos. So they support the agenda in a one belt, one road region, maybe just an assumption, and also in Eastern Europe. Okay, and I want to spend a little time on a ShadowPad updates. ShadowPad, I think you could read about it, but in the original ShadowPad research, we published it in 2017, but this update, this year, we could connect it to the Cactus-Speed actor. How comes? First of all, what is ShadowPad attack? ShadowPad, it was a very unpleasant attack with a supply chain infection. What it means? Maybe you know the product for the system administrator, NetSarank. NetSarank is not that popular in our region in Eastern Europe, but it's very popular in Asia. So it's system administrators use it a lot, and it was infected. So the operators behind ShadowPad attack infect alleged popular software to make the initial infection. So quite profound trick. You have to hack, right? You have to break with supply chain part, and you have to embed your malicious code inside. And taking a look how we could conclude with Cactus piece behind. Now we have an engine, similarity engine. We could take a look at the new code, at the, we call it genotype, small unique part of the code. And if we see between the different samples with unique parts, with malicious custom parts is the same, we could conclude, bingo, these developers have an access to the same source code, at least. Maybe not the same actor, but the same source code. This is it. And this year, you see also financial and military in Eastern Europe. By the way, for sure, it's not, I couldn't cover all the technical details in half an hour, but this is a publication on securelist.com from my colleague, Konstantin Zykov, and you could just visit securelist.com if you are interested into the technical details and read about all this NetSarank incident and about this Cactus-Speed continuation of this story. Okay. And they are also wrote, they not only wrote the final ShadowPad malware, also some additional backdoors. You see the names on the slide, and some CVE was also in use. But once again, I want to emphasize it's not like a CVE 2020. You see, some CVEs are also implemented in Metasploit, so we're like a common knowledge. Still unupdated system also could be hacked using it. Some security perimeters could be broken using old CVs as well, but it's mostly the matter of patching, not like the 0 days or first days. It was with exploitation was developed a little before. Enough for Cactus-Speed, one of the actors active in the region. And also the second one from the list, I want to cover a little bit of SOFOSy. You see the picture all around the world. And if you take a look on the countries, you wouldn't see Serbia, because it's only the top. Serbia covered related to SOFOSy in our reports 5 times. You see here only 11, 13, 11 at 9. But if we go deeper, 5 reports regarding the SOFOSy also affects Serbia. So it's quite active in the Eastern Europe, I could say. What is here? They know how to do C#, and they rewrote the external with C# language. So it's ready channel with encrypted RC4, encrypted communication. And also they reused, maybe for the organizer of this event, it would be interesting regarding the domains. They reuse the already known domains. They are in the business for years. They're very experienced. they maybe just don't mind and think what the possible targets don't consume or even open source intelligence. We don't know, but the fact is, in this case, you could conclude the connection between the campaigns, not only because of code similarities. For example, if the external is completely rewritten in C#, your only analyst could tell, aha, the same coding style, right? But your automated system or your attribution engine could not see the same genotypes in the C++ sample and C# samples, right? But they reuse the domains. Okay, so we also have the database for the just malicious domains, just for the common malware, and malicious domains related to the APTs, to targeted attacks, served as a control service. Okay, and for sure, they wouldn't go anywhere. They would continue quite profound and active action. So let me sum up. Enough talking. I really want to hear some questions if you have time. Up to moderator. We are covering the statistic. Some statistic taking the picture of all the malware in Serbia. Could try to compare it with another country. Try to count the number of infections during the day, months, and the part of the year already gone by and dynamic to the previous year without the COVID stuff. And I also take a look which actors are active in the region in Eastern Europe and covering a little bit their abilities and their tools for more detailed information about the actors. So Securelist is your friend. And also regarding the TIP, we have an open version of it. It's opentip.kaspersky.com. And some data could be obtained there. A screenshot was made in a complete version, but the limited version are quite open at OpenTip. So thanks for being with us. Thanks for listening, and I'm ready. If we have some time for question, I'm for sure ready to try to answer. Thank you.
We have a question at the end. Now I will ask Viktor Varga to tell us something about what they found when they worked in Serbia. Viktor, please.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. So just a moment, I will share my presentation. So first of all, so my name is Viktor Varga. I'm working in Unicom. We are a system integrator, we are a service provider. And as we have introduced, so we are also operating a CERT organization. So I'm an engineer, of course, and to speak about technologies should be more natural for me. But today I will try to be more generic because I believe that it's also important to make people to think about the right approach. So before I go to that part, so what can we see? What's happening in our region? So I would like to a little bit to explain. So what is about CERT and CERT organization, what CERTs are doing, and so on. So I believe it's also important, not just the reason to be explained, but I believe that it's also important to depict what we are doing and what other CERT organizations are doing. And also, I believe that CERT organizations are very important for our society. So in our community, since the introduction of our National Information Security Law in 2016, there were many buzz around this CERT. And I believe that it's still very blurry. So what CERT organizations are doing. So I have a little bit similar picture like we saw from Denis. It is taken from another side, but it's also it's taken today. It shows some realistic attacks. So it will of course help me to explain so what sort of organizations are doing. What today is not more needed an explanation, that attacks are happening continuously in every second in a great amount, 24/7 and so on. And this kind of maps are very goodly depict that's what's happening, that we can say that we are in some kind of war. We are under constant attack. And there's also other well-known phase that there are only two types of companies: those that have been hacked and those who don't yet know that they have been hacked. So, but what's happening? So when attack hits, so what to do? Is there a skilled team ready to respond and handle cybersecurity incidents? So that question is the best answer to that what CERT and CERT teams are doing. So CERTs are organizations which are able to continuously respond to cyber incidents. So of course there are different abbreviations for these terms. So it's of course it's not so important. So I just want to emphasize about the SOC, the Security Operations Center, which is more or less similar to CERT, but mostly focused on operational security. So to continuous monitoring and incident detection. Of course, there are no strict barriers between those terms, but so people are, of course, using them on different ways. So further to express the main problem, what we are still seeing, that usually organizations are trying to solve the problems only with use of technology. Of course, it was also prominent. So years and years ago, it was so people just said, okay, we will buy a firewall, we will buy an anti-malware solution, and so we will be safe. So today the situation is a little bit better, but I believe that people are still relying on the thought that technology or some or they buy some magical appliance which will solve all the cybersecurity problems. So it's needless to say, of course, that it's wrong. To fight cybersecurity risks, we need skills like people, we need experience reflected in procedures, and of course the right technology. The evolution from a technological to holistic approach in cybersecurity is the same like IT security teams matures in CERT teams. And that is what CERT represent, and I believe it is the only right approach to fight the cybersecurity risks. So technology only will not solve the problems we really need. So skilled people and experience which are reflected in procedure. So I can say that so our company, we are very lucky because we are working with different kind of companies, so from government to private. For example, so I like to tell this always. So our smallest client has only 3 employees, and our biggest client has a couple of thousand. So I believe that we can really see what's happening here in Serbia, what's happening in this region. So I would like here to give an overview of let's say top three trends. What is prominent here in Serbia. So of course we can see that. So unfortunately, that's the business of cybersecurity, that companies are contacting us when something bad is happening. So the first of those three trends, which I here want to emphasize, it is something what is constant, that it's I believe it's not changed in this period this year due to the pandemic, that incidents related to hacking humans, different way of social engineering, are remained constantly as a very prominent problem. So as humans still the weakest link, it's still the most prominent problem, and unfortunately it's of course the toughest problem to fix, because obviously with technology we cannot fix that easily. The second thing, what is something new in this region, what can we see with our clients, with companies with who we work, that in this year campaigns against, so not just single incidents, but campaigns against organization in our region are so probably risen by a magnitude. So many companies face continuous attacks campaigns with different vectors, and it's of course it's very challenging to cope with these complex situations. So the third trend, which is also coming now in focus, is the obvious lack of security in design. So companies are developing different solutions, softwares, and so for example, developers like to use cloud services because it's easy to put in some solution. And they are doing it without consideration how things are working under the hood, and they are making even greater mistakes from the security perspectives, like in some traditional on-premise environment. So, and of course, it results in different kind of security breaches, which is usually unable, so after the incident, to analyze, because the lack of logging, because of identity and access control, and so on. So these three trends are bad things, but I also want to emphasize here one good thing due to this pandemic, that all the companies became more reliant on the connection, the technology, on digital. And as a result of that, business owners and decision makers can see in greater degree the importance of the information technology, so making this digital more tangible and easier to understand all the benefits of the technology, and of course to understand also those risks related to the technology. So, and I would like now to conclude. So, of course, also from this experience, I of course I will be very generic here, but again, I believe that we have to change the way how people is thinking about cybersecurity, and we will come to right approach if we can change those things. So the first thing, what is of course very important, is an awareness. So I mean, but by awareness, so two things. So the first thing, that all the people using technology, and everybody's using the technology, should be aware of all the, not all, but the most of the consequences of the technology misuse. And the second thing is that, of course, we have to make aware the decision makers, the business owners, what's on the stake, which kind of risk can produce which bad outcomes. The second message is mostly focused to the smaller organizations, which cannot afford some more serious approach. They don't have right resources for that, of course. But it's very important. So it's also part of the awareness building that the cybersecurity hygiene should be kept. So, like, as we have to wash our hands, So simply all the companies need to do the basic things, to make backups, to have a password policy, and so on. And with those little things, they can avoid a large scale of threats. The third thing is that protection is not a statical thing. Again, we cannot buy some appliance and rely on that it will protect us. So protection is a continuous and active process which should be carefully monitored what's happening and should be adjusted accordingly, because things, the technology and everything is changing constantly. And also from the perspective of CERT team, so the incident response is very, very important. And this is the field where really additional effort is needed, because unfortunately, so even the biggest companies have not put enough resources into this. So, of course, even in the case of incidents, if an adequate response is applied, so the consequences can be even negligible if the right approach is given. So it's important for the companies to make some incident response procedures, to outsource that part partially. Of course, it cannot be completely outsourced. And what I have here to emphasize, what is also very important for us, that the very good way to achieve the resilience are through cyber drills. And I want to say here that we had a cyber drill event 2 weeks ago. So we had both so from the government and private sectors, and it was very, very successful. So other organization or partner, they organized also a policy tabletop exercise, which is also, beside the technological approach, is very important. And last week we had also a cyber drill for students, which is also something new here in Serbia. And also we really believe that it's very important to organize this kind of events. And last but not least, so the security by design. So security has to be embedded in every solution, from every solution software, and it has to do from the scratch. It's also like the awareness; it's very hard to achieve, but also again, like the awareness building, it can eliminate a vast amount of future risks. So, yeah, I want to apologize if I was too generic, but I will say it again that it's more important to change the way how we are thinking, and then we will easily come to right approach how to face the specific problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Viktor. I will call now Žarko to tell us about what he find about security threats. Žarko, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Sasha. I do not have a presentation, but I would like to raise awareness in regard of domain names and DNS system. Security experts are saying that more than 2/3 of all security incidents are realized by any kind of DNS manipulation and domain name manipulation. What is important to know is that what Denis and Viktor were talking, they didn't say how malicious software and malicious things are spreading around. It can be through social engineering. So if you get, for example, USB stick or some other media with malicious software, that's one way. but most of the cases, malware is spread via internet and via manipulated domain names. In that case, we as a CCTLD and Registry for National Domain Names in Serbia, we are thinking about security. We also have CERT, which takes care whenever, and we are doing everything which is in our hands and that we can to fight abusive domain names. But users or registrants or domain holders have to think about protection of their domain names as well. For example, we have different kinds of domain lock, which can be enabled via registrars, via whom registrants registered domain name. Too many registrations in this sentence, but I hope you understood that. And also we have the NSSEC, which can stop many the kinds of domain hijacking and spread of malicious domain names, as well as both of our speakers were talking. You have to raise awareness because some domain names can look very similar by using similar characters. For example, I and L are very similar, so it can look like you're getting to a website or you're receiving emails from some domain name, but it is manipulated and it is very dangerous. So take care and think about your domain names and secure them.
Okay, thank you, Žarko. We'll have some questions for you. First for Denis. You're still with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Organization ENISA published the threat landscape, and they say that some threats are in rising, some declining. Malware is in rising, phishing, identity theft, ransomware, all the threats are in rising, but luckily spam, DDoS, cryptojacking are in declining. Are you agree with that? Are your findings similar like that, or there is difference?
For sure, I don't have this statistic in my hand right now, but with all these points you mentioned make sense to me, really makes sense. Because DDoS, it's a matter of the traffic cleaning center, right? We know mostly we know how to fight it automatically, right? And regarding the, I suppose here, I could confirm 100% it's crypto lockers are still on the rise, and it's also quite understandable because it's the shortest way to the monetization of the manufacturer's efforts. So all of them now, we need to understand the time of some enthusiast trying to hack something a long time gone. They are just an industry with a strict place for all the participants. So it's like a normal industry. Some of them searching for the vulnerabilities and solved it. Some of them providing the code, exploiting these vulnerabilities, etc., etc., etc. And somebody in this food chain just implement the crypto locker attack. Yes, it's on the rise. Once again, it's a big business. It's in terms of the monetization, quite understandable why it's on the rise, right? So, yes, please.
Also short question for you. I saw in your presentation the most dominant malware is KMS. For viewers, KMS is a way to prioritize your Microsoft products.
Yeah, but please don't. I just on that slide, I just emphasize a lot of such activators. But please don't consider it 100% malicious. So we are taking a look.
it's a lot of installations.
Yes, true. It's not, and once again, it's not so country specific. I could name another countries with also a lot of detection. So we detect it, but we don't block it. It's not 100% malicious. Once again, true. It's popular. True.
Yes, thanks.
I could confirm it.
Victor, can you please tell us what is the common threat that you found in your work here in the last months during the COVID? What is the most common?
So maybe it will not reflect the real situation. So what we had in the last month, so it was a rise of different kind of DDoS campaigns on the infrastructures of the users. So probably it's not the right picture because it was in our focus, but as I mentioned, so the usual threats are on some constant level. So I cannot say that this or that kind of malware and so on is most prominent. So as we can see, those things are more or less on the same level. But what I have to emphasize that really last year we didn't have so many organized attacks, organized campaigns against the companies, and this year we had a vast amount of that kind of complex attacks.
Thank you. And Žarko, please, do you have any information about domains, malicious domains with COVID in itself? How is that moving in this time?
Yeah, there are certain reports and some CERT-a abroad raise awareness on domain names consisting on COVID-19 or coronavirus or masks or similar words which are connected to pandemic. And we followed that, and we looked at our database. We had pretty small number of domain names registered from February till now, less than 30. And we also scanned them and checked them, their activities. There were a couple domain names which are connected to government institutions, which is used to spread information about COVID-19 in Serbia and in the region. And also most of them are unused, parked, or without DNS data in it. We didn't see any malicious activity with those domain names in Serbia.
Okay, thank you, Žarko. If nobody wants something.
Yeah, I would like just to add a couple of things because what we had, we don't know all cybersecurity incidents that happened, but there were two which are well known to the public. The one is ransomware, which hit Informatica Novi Sad, and another one is that a lot of people were getting emails supposedly from some Serbian banks, but they are spread phishing campaigns. And in the case of ransomware, I'm not talking just about that case that I mentioned, but we had a couple of meetings in past weeks globally, and common thing is that in some region ransomware is going down, and also phishing campaigns are going down, but we have raised in spam messages. And spam also having in attachments some malicious piece of code. In Serbia, we also can say that some phishing sites are going down because I don't remember, you also are getting that reports and following that. We didn't have any phishing report in past months, and also it was much less than previous year in the period between let's say March and September. But we got a lot of reports in regard of spam messages, and mail system is somehow different, and there are a couple actors. One actor is the people who are receiving that mail, and we are repeating that again and again. Be careful what you are opening, and don't open every attachment that is sent to you unless you're sure why you are getting that attachment. And also, we have to refer to people who are running email servers, and they have to secure both sides. The one side is what they are receiving and how they are checking from whom it is received. And some incidents that happen during that bank campaign could be stopped or mitigated somehow if email administrators were securing their emails and not allowing that those emails get to end users. And also, while sending email, please secure your email servers and use all power of DNS system. Put there all information about email servers and put the key and the mark record correctly, so people are not getting spam mail from somebody else in your name. That's it.
Sorry, could I add one more question to Žarko, if it's possible?
Sure.
Sure. Žarko, tell me please, have you sinkhole some domains ever? I think yes. And could you please, if it's possible, also to name the results of domain sinkholing for some kind of the malware, some campaigns?
You know what? It is a big campaign, even not only in Serbia, but within European registries, because we are talking about content and not about domain. Having certain content put on domain name, that's illegal, but we do not have resources and knowledge to know what is bad content and what is not. What we can do is, yes, we did sinkholes a couple domain names, but it is clear that unless we get clear information from law enforcement agencies or some similar agency which is responsible for content, we cannot do that.
I see, thanks.
If that's all, thank you all for taking part in this. We'll conclude the first part of this event. We'll take a break and in a couple of minutes continue with the next panel.